Incoming mail.
Good morning, everyone. It's KC. We're here with week 6 of the $1 Million Trading Challenge. How is everyone doing today? Great being here. Another beautiful morning. The week of February 22nd. Just thanks to everyone for being here. Let's go ahead and jump in and get started. Hope you guys all had a fantastic weekend. Let me know how everybody's doing in the chat so you can hear, just so I know you guys can hear me and all of everything. Okay, let's do this. All right, so you can see a little bit of snow there in Wyoming. Truck needs to get brushed off. He's got some snow in the back there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and jump into some trade reviews first. Let's take a look at what we got. So Euro, you guys know I've been watching the Euro. And just a little heads up is I have been throwing out some stuff on Twitter with trade ideas and things like that. So I don't know if I showed you guys this last week, but if you guys would like to follow me and get those updates, you can do that. I just put the caption up there. Let me show you what it looks like right here. Like, for example, I put I just put a See, Jonathan's like, what am I missing? Oh, I just landed a new guest. It's the Everyday Spy on the podcast. And Jonathan's like, why? Why would you get a spy on your show? It's really cool. We talked about it. It's going to help you guys with your financial thinking. So that's going to be good. And that's exclusively on the podcast only. And I'm just replying now. So if you guys haven't checked out the podcast, you need to do that. But that's not why I wanted to show you this. What I wanted to show you was some of the trades. Like I just did this euro dollar trade and I said, hey, look, this could come back up. And so I just post this stuff when I see it. You see how there was resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. And I said, it's running into resistance. We had the MACD. Will it break through? And so let's go back now and look at what that trade actually would have looked like. You can see here's the resistance here, the resistance here, and then right there. So sometimes you can get some pretty good, solid setups going on right through your Twitter feed because I can't do everything live. I try to give a good update on the live side, but can't always do that. So it's good to follow the Twitter updates as well. And again, just like with anything else, I love it when you guys give me feedback. Like Jonathan replied to my tweet. You guys cannot understand the value of having access to people. Like social media is really annoying a lot and it just kind of bugs me. But at the same time, you get access to people in a way that you never could before. So there's some good and there's some bad. You want to use the positive, engage with me, engage with other people, use it to help your engagement because engaging with things is one of the areas that's going to help you out. So anyways, with this euro dollar, we're currently looking at a pretty interesting level. We've got a support level that's currently being tested with this triangle. So we've actually become now in this little tighter wedge. So it's starting to wind up. There's not been a lot of moves, but it's starting to wind up. Right now, it's at a very serious level here. We've got this trend line moving down. We have this horizontal level at 121.57. You can see how many days this has been tested. Like this has been tested a lot. Lots of tests over here, lots of tests right here, and then now a lot of tests on the bounce. So the bounce didn't work once, bounce didn't work twice, and now it's going for a third time. So if the euro is going to recover, it absolutely must have success on this test. And so we can watch this. Let's go now down to a lower time frame here. We could actually watch this. Let's see here. On a lower time frame, we did recently just break this one. We have the MACD, which is increasing. It went negative just for a brief second, and now it's bursting again. So we have a break, but we also have some key resistance right up here. So this is a level that we're going to be watching. I'm not going to probably go long on this until this breaks up. As far as the downside is concerned, if this does fail, yes, we're in an uptrend, but if this fails, the uptrend is in danger, right? Because you can see we're in an uptrend, price is moving, it's rising, it's going well, but right now we're below the 50. And if it breaks this, it's probably going to go break some of these other levels to the downside. It's probably going to test this moving average. We have a level right here as well. So these are the downside levels that we want to be looking at to be concerned about. I'm going to change the color on these so we know that these are support levels. These are all support levels that we want to be watching below us. Okay, so if this current level does not go according to plan, we want to be watching the downside. Always be ready for a trend reversal at any time. We never know what the market is going to do, but we do know that at any time, things can change. Okay, so that is something that we want to be watching, this level. So we'll keep our eyes on it. If anything develops while we're going live, I'm going to let you know as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at gold, because I did get into gold. We had talked about that earlier. I had used this level. You see we had a pin bar, and we had this level right here, which was tested. You see that? And it broke the level, and now it's moving higher. So I'm currently in this trade on gold. I'm in profit a little bit on this one, and we're moving up. So let's see here. We have another resistance point on this one to look at right here. If this level breaks, we got more move to the upside. So let's watch this resistance point. If we looked at it on a lower time frame, you can see the MACD crossed right here. And so we've had some pretty nice strength on the cross. We had a 50 period moving average break. You can notice that the trend line, so these can work really well on hourly. You can see the trend line broke, and there was a MACD cross at the same time. So that is sometimes a very good point for entering. I currently have a pretty wide stop loss on it down here. If the price breaks below this, or this 50 period moving average, I might jump out of it. A lot of times I'll have a pretty big stop, but I'm not going to actually use that stop loss because I don't like to get stopped out, but I do like to close trades manually. So if I can close them manually, then that's going to be really good. So with that being said, right now we're in profit, we're consolidating. It's got an upward angle, but it needs to break this level right here in order for a reversal to really kick in. But this is definitely a reversal trade. I was just waiting for, if you remember on Friday, I was waiting for this to go, this pin bar, right? So we put a pending order in and it triggered, and there we have it. Now, let's take a look at the Australian USD because I had some pending orders there as well. You see, we were trying to get in lower on this setup on the pound or Australian USD. I had my pending there. It didn't retrace enough. It did not retrace, but we currently have, I put two orders in, one down here and one down here, and it retraced, but it didn't go enough. So now, now I have to be looking at, okay, let's look at the MACD on this. So the MACD got negative. We could have re-entered on the MACD cross of the current, and that would have been about 28 pips, but I just, I'm trying to focus more on a longer term setup here, but currently it's up. So I'm going to move this, I'm going to remove this pending order right now because the levels have kind of risen. You can see right now the new level is basically right here. This is the new level. And so if I could probably put my new pending order right here on this level. And let's go back and see where the old level was. So the old level was right here. Let's go to a daily time frame, see if we can see a little bit better. So that was the old level. You can see we had it in place. We have a really strong level right here as well. So I'm just gonna have a pending order right there. There's another order, another pending order right here, but I'm gonna remove this one. I'm gonna remove this pending order for right now and just keep the one on. So right now we have one pending order right up here, and it's on this this level. So there you have it. Okay, and so that's that. Let's the other trade is the pound New Zealand. Let's go ahead and look at this. This is currently testing a key support level right now. Let's take a look at it. It's currently testing a key support level. We're under on the MACD, and you guys remember I put a pending order in, and I dropped the pending order. I believe I had it right here, but I actually lowered it down as price went in, and it triggered it right up here. Okay, it triggered it right up here, and then we bounced off the trend line. The MACD is currently getting lower. Yeah, that's very true, Ben. That is very true. That's why on the there are times when I'll close them, right? So, for example, if the price is close and it's at when the day closes. So the biggest time and the biggest problem is when the day closes, they widen the spread. So if the day closes, I will remove the Australian dollar pending before the day. Okay. The other thing about that though, is if it is in the direction of your trade, sometimes that can be a good thing, right? So sometimes it can actually work in your favor. So let's use an example. In this case, if they widen the spread and the price is below here and it triggers me in, well, there might be shorts down here. So let's just assume that there's shorts right down here and they trigger this and then it pops right back up. Well, then I have an instant profit, based off of the spread. So just like anything in trading, the stuff that they do can work against you, but can always also work for you as well. So as long as you're using your risk wisely, then that is a big thing that we can use for our advantage. So right now we have that in place here that we want to take a look at. Okay, so I'm currently in the pound New Zealand. And you can see that it is bouncing. So what would be a nice way to handle this is I'm watching this trend line. You see this trend line? If it breaks this and the MACD crosses, I am going to add a position here. Okay, I'm going to add a position. And then that will have two positions on the same one as well. So right. Yeah. So pending orders, you don't have to use them. You really don't. They can get you into trouble if you're not experienced with them. So definitely something that you do not have to do. But it is still good to know those levels, right? It's still good to know those levels. So the hardest part about not using pending orders is you can be like, oh, this Australian level is critical. And then you check your chart at 9:30 and you see that it hit it at 8:30 and it bounced 100 pips. And you're like, oh man, I knew that level was there, right? And so that does happen from time to time. So that's one of the reasons why I do take a look at those as well. Okay, so we got the euro. I'm not putting a pending on this euro, although we'll be watching that. The pound New Zealand we're currently in, and we're also currently in gold. So we'll be watching those trades, keeping you guys updated on those just to let you know what's going on. In the meantime, let's go ahead and keep looking at some other pairs. Let's see if we can actually find a trade. I know we're trying to do $100 a day, so let's see if we can find a really good setup. Right now, one of the ones I had liked was this Australian New Zealand. Take a look at what we've got. We've got a pretty good consolidation happening. So it popped up really nice. I mean, this was a great trade. And if we look at this, these ranges are getting smaller, but this is right now in a pretty tight zone, right, going sideways since about 12 days. It's been going on for about 2 weeks. Ben, I'm actually not usually bullish or bearish on anything. What I am is I just watch levels and see what happens, right? So like right now, I'm not bullish on this Australia, New Zealand. or at least I try not to be. Sometimes I might get a little bit biased, and I feel like that is what hurts me, is when I try to come up with a bullish or bearish example. What I would rather do is just watch the levels and see what happens. And if it's in an uptrend, I'm looking for buyer setups. If it's in a downtrend, I'm looking for short setups, right? So right now, the pound is extremely strong. If we go, one of the things I like to look at is the Forex power indicator. And if we go ahead, I'll pull that. I know sometimes don't always look at it, but I am always looking at it, if you know what I mean. I'm not always looking at it, but I'm always looking at it. I don't always bring it up on the show, but I always look at this, right? And so this is just the weekly. You can see the pound is pretty strong, right? And so that is what I'm looking at. So that means I will be wanting to buy the pound when I can. And pound yen is extremely solid, right? Pound yen is an extremely solid setup. If we look at the monthly, you can see the pound is also very strong, right? And so, yeah, I'm not saying that I'm not bullish. I'm kind of bullish, but at the same time, I'm looking for levels. I'm looking for levels. Yes, I want to buy the pound when there's pullbacks, because that's what is currently happening. And until that changes, I'm just going to keep doing it. And so, you know, doing something, you know, trading is just like everything else in life, and it follows the Pareto principle of 80-20. If something just recently happened, it's more likely to happen again, right? So if a trend just recently went to the upside and a price went and broke a level, it's more likely to happen again. And so in trading, we just want to follow those probabilities. And if something just happened, we want to find it happening again. So that's what I'm looking at. And that's why I have this trend line right here, which we can see it's a pretty solid trend channel. I'm just back to the pound New Zealand. It's a pretty solid trend channel, and that's why I am not going to actually get into the position until I get confirmation to the upside. I did get the initial entry, which was a confirmation of some kind, because it popped up and broke that level I was watching, but it wasn't enough to continue. But as long as this uptrend is still intact, I'm good with it, right? I'm good with adding to the position. Okay, so what was I looking at? Let's go look at the Euro Australian. Let's go look at the Euro Australian. So this is one that I've enjoyed shorting quite a bit. You can see again, am I bearish on it? I am looking for short trades on pullbacks. The best one we had was just recently right up here. You can see 547 pips down. This trend is really strong. We can go back to a weekly. It just broke below the weekly. The 50 period moving average is turning down. Shockingly, the 200 is still up, even though it's been moving down for months. It's been moving down since, I mean, look how long this has been going, and yet the moving average still isn't turned. These moving averages are very slow. The 200 period is very slow on a longer time frame. But right now, if we look at some key levels on it, there is a key level right down here. So there's still a lot of room. You can see right here, there's a key level. And there is one right here. So it's currently at a pretty powerful level, right? You can see that. And why do I say that? Is because it stopped right here and it stopped right here. And then when we look at this on the daily, you'll notice that it pinned it. It pinned it to the T, okay? It pinned it to the T. So with that being said, are we going to get some retracement here? Well, we very well could. We very well could, because we have, we've got this happening. You can see we have a channel. A pretty nice channel. It's a nice looking channel. You see that? Right? So where would we want to catch this again? Well, I think the next place we'd want to catch this is right at this trend line, right? I think that would be a great place. We currently have some resistance right here. So we have levels here, and I know I got it really small. Let's see. So we've got this trend line. We've got some resistance here. So a bounce right up in here would be another great place to catch this. Let's see if we can, if this channel has a bottom. Is there a bottom on this channel? This channel does have a bottom as well. You can see that it's rested pretty nicely where it's at. It still didn't quite hit the bottom, so that gives an indication that it might have some more room. It might have some more room down here to the downside because of this channel bottom. It is got 2 resistance points here, but it could break through those and go lower. Again, this is one that you want to be very careful. If you're ever going to do a counter trend on this, you would want to be very careful. However, it is bottoming out. It is bottoming out. Let's take a look at an hourly. The hourly is starting to get tinier, and we have a key level right here, right? So if you do break it, I mean, you know, you guys have heard the term short squeeze. It's very popular right now to talk about short squeezes, right? And so what that means is that there's a lot of shorts in here, and when the buyers start to come in, there are people that have been holding this for a long time, and they go short, and they're taking profits, and that's why it slows down. They're like, oh, there's a support level here. I'm gonna get out, right? And so they get out. Buyers start to step in. People are taking profit, and then the next thing you know, it pops up, and then all the people that aren't, all the shorts that aren't out yet, they start to get in. And also new shorts, or all the shorts that aren't out, they start to get in here. They start to get out, I mean. And then new shorts come in here, and then if the new shorts, they get squeezed out because price comes up, and then that accelerates more buying, and then you get a nice spike, and it comes right up into this level, right? So we have a support level right here, and we have support up here. So this is a zone. If you were going to consider a counter trend trade, I would say that we could get 100 pips here or even 200 up here. So just something to be looking at if you were doing it. You know, there's, with these shorter time frames in the currency market, sometimes it just makes sense to do a counter trend trade, right? And so we currently have, we've got a trend line that you can see happening here, right? So we've got a couple different things. We've got MACD releasing, we've got trend line breaking, we've got support level breaking or resistance level. So there's definitely some action that could happen on this if you were interested in taking a counter trend trade. And you just, the way you do it is, it's just like anything else. You put your risk in a nice level. You put your stop loss below the resistance. Once it just manage that risk as good as you possibly can. Okay, and so with that being said, we've got the MACD moving over. We have the price pulling here. So if we get a breakout right here, I would actually consider this. Now there is resistance here at 13 pips up. So that would be something that we'd want to consider. Let's take a look and see what the current levels are. You can see we have a level. There's different places we could place our stop loss on this. If we look at the hourly, you can place it down here for ultimate safety, or you could place it down here for the most current level. But the way I like it is get it nice and tight, and then that way, you know, if it gets out, you get out early. Let's put, let's get our levels in here. So I think a good place for a stop would be right here. And yes, it can trigger that. So that's why I like to give it a little additional room because of the stop hunters. But the current momentum is pushing up, right? So I'd like to give it a little bit additional room. So we'll see. I'm not going to do it unless we get a pretty strong break right above here. And so remember, that is definitely a counter trend trade, something that you want to be taking a look at for a possibility. Yeah. Okay, so what else is going on here? Let's see what else we have. Euro pound, very similar to the Euro Australian. Why? Because the pound is very strong and the Euro's been weak. So we have a type of reversal scenario on this one. Actually, it looks really similar. This one is just broke a level right here. And we have some levels over here. Currently, there's one little tiny level right here, which it's right, and it's not tiny, actually. When I see it on a weekly, it's not tiny. So right here, it's a level that it's just pressed into. We're now consolidating down here. And again, sometimes the reason it consolidates is just to catch more buyers and they want to push it long. So that's what you got to be really careful of if you're counter trend trading. If you're counter trend trading, you're got to be like, well, man, they're just trying to push this shorter. They're just setting a trap. They're setting a trap to get more buyers in. So you want to be aware of that and you don't want to get in the trap. So if you're concerned about it at all, the best way to do that is just to just go with the direction of the trend. Just be patient and wait for your trend to get in the right direction. So you don't have to worry. Again, it's about probabilities. The probability of your trade here is definitely better to go short, definitely better. And so unless you're really trained at it, you want to keep it in place. So let's go back to that Euro Australian. So it's pressing up. Let's look at the Euro dollar. So Euro dollar is moving up. We're dropping down a little bit. It's testing into this support. Okay, let's check the Euro Australian, currently testing into resistance. No, actually, I did not talk about the pound yen. Let's go ahead. That's actually a really good one as well. Pound yen is really solid. Let's look at the daily first. Daily is really powerful. Look at this move. I mean, this thing has had no pullbacks, right? So when we talk about probabilities, this thing is really a high probability setup on any type of pullback you want to try to get long on this, right? So right here, we have MACD crossing lower. We have, it currently broke a support level and is testing. And so we have a trend line right here. So this is actually, we have the moving average testing. We've got lots of opportunity, I think, for a possible long setup on this one. And so high probability, I think it's very high probability that it gets back up to this high. It did test it a couple times. So when we look at it 1, 2, 3, it has tested it 3 times and it has been very bullish for a long time. It's been very strong. So it could set up for a short fake out, but I'll be watching this level. If we get the MACD to cross over, we get this trend line to break, we could get a pretty solid setup. With that being said, the pound yen is also forming a little bit of a bounce here as well. So if we talk about probabilities and we look at our trades, what would be the highest probability? The Euro Australian, the Euro dollar, the pound New Zealand, or the pound yen? So in my mind, I'm thinking the pound yen is probably the best probability here. Another high probability setup, I didn't hear the bell. I just saw Ben. Oh, I didn't go off. I don't know. Maybe I'm not logged in. Let me check. Thank you for the comment, Ben. I've been really focused. I wanted to get a trade off. So with that being said, let's take a look here at Australian yen. I'll be checking the stocks in a minute. Australian yen is the same type of probability. We've had a really strong run, very powerful, very little pullback. So anytime you get a pullback, you want to be looking at it. So right now we have a pullback happening. The MACD is lowering here, but it still hasn't broken this level. So with this strength, you know, the MACD is used as a guide, but ultimately the levels and the price action is the key, right? We want that to be our ultimate indicator. So with that being said, it is lower on the 15. So if we get a pull back into the to the green, yeah, Ben, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. You gotta wait. Patience is critical. That's why I haven't taken a trade yet. I have not done so. Okay, so we got a level right here to the downside. If it breaks, we got some room down here because you can see the MACD is lowering on the hourly. So yes, I said it would be a great break to the upside, but it also could be counter trend. And the same with that pound yen too. The pound yen could be counter trend. If it breaks this, which it's breaking it, we have the hourly, the MACD starting to go negative. It's breaking this level. So this could be a short down to this point. Two places to look at here as well. So actually this is looking really good. Let's see what the Euro Australian's doing. No, the pound yen actually is looking really good for a short right now. You see that nice strong burst to the downside. It's already gone 15 pips in a matter of just seconds that we talked about it. Yep, Monday it's a Monday. It's definitely a Monday. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of a pop here on this breakout. So what does that mean? What does that pop mean? Well, it means that it could either be a fake. We're tested this level, right? It could be a fake and a bounce back up, or it's an opportunity to go short, right? It's an opportunity to go short because it bounced. And so if we did that, we broke this downward trend line like this. I got a bottom shelf that broke. It's coming back to retest. And so we could just grab this in on the short side, expecting for this trend to continue. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab it short right here and see if we can take this target out. Okay, well, let's look at the, I'm going to just, so now that I went in here, I'm going to grab a quick little picture of it. Thanks, Ben. Let's grab a quick little photo. And I'm going to put the image in here, and I'm throwing it in the spreadsheet. And by the way, you guys do have access to that. JPB, JPY. Okay, so there we have it. We just went for it real quick, and we'll see what happens on it. See if we get any follow through. Right back down. There's a support level right down here, and see if we can get anything on it. So with that being said, we currently have the market opening. So I have the setup in place, and we'll be watching it, taking a look at the here's the spreadsheet, guys. I'm going to give you guys the link in the chat. Okay, so right now I'm going to pull up the other stuff. And we'll take a look at what's going on. All right, so we have we've got Clorox, which you guys remember I went on this trade. Not much to update there. Still going pretty well. It's basically up a little bit. It was up. I was up a few dollars when it hit into this resistance point. Now, if we look at it on an hourly time frame, we have another resistance, and it's hitting there right now. And so just like the currency stuff, what would I be looking for? I don't close that. What I'm going to be looking for is this level to break out, a shorter time period level to break out here, and then continue on back up into this level. Okay, so that's that one. Let's take a look at FNKO. FNKO is another one that I've been up on for a while, and it's currently consolidating. We just had a nice little breakout over here, which was pretty cool. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. Hey, Dan. Thanks for stepping in. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Okay, so right now we have this FNKO. I got in at 1244. Now it's 1322. Been pretty patient on this one, and right now we're waiting for price to break up to another level. So I'd like to see that happen. The other big one that I'm in, which is CRM. CRM is currently, I've been up in this one since 220, so I've got a pretty solid position on it, or 220 range, 223. But it's currently at a key level. Right, let's go to a daily. It's currently sitting at a nice level. If we get a consolidation here, consolidation is a big thing to look at. If we can get consolidation around these levels, like we had here, see how it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it had a nice burst. Would like to see it consolidate around here and then get a nice little burst to the upside. So right now we're down, but I believe today's a down day on the market. So we'll be watching that. Let's take a look at my other one, which is FUBO. FUBO is same type of thing. You can see that this is a little like a pennant. See this pennant? So we've got this little pennant right here, okay? And then this is the pole, right? So now we're just waiting for this to break. Every time it goes to the upside, it just gets pushed down. So I'm waiting for this to go. Yeah, Ben, Let me go back. Sorry, I got your questions late. Yeah, there's a huge reason on Clorox. And the first reason is this nice big moving channel, right? You see this nice upward channel. It's the exact same channel that I use to trade CRM. So let me show you you'll be able to see it when you look at it. So we got a big up move, and then we have this channel, right? This is what you call a bullish channel or a bull flag channel. So if we go to CRM, you'll see the exact same thing, right? Let me delete all these ugly lines. But you can see on CRM, we had the same thing. Nice up move, nice bounce off of this bottom, and then an up move to the top, right? And so I was watching for it to bounce off that channel, and I got it. And so CLX is basically the same formation, right? We're at the bottom, we bounced off of it, and now we're looking to go back up, right? So that's the situation, that's the scenario, that's why we do it, that's why I did it. Basically looking for that bull flag bounce. It's been a very high probability setup for me. And that's one of the things that I'm looking at is for high probability. So, so there you go. Okay. Let's go here. Back. Okay, we got some more good questions. FUBO, Fubo has a class action suit against it. So let's go click the news tab. Let's see. All right, so yeah, like you said, here it is. And so that's definitely one thing you want to look at when you're looking at your market. But again, the most important thing you want to look at is the chart. So with that being said, you look at news, it's additional information that you take in place, but we're going to see what happens, right? We're going to see what happens with this. You know, I know for a fact that a lot of these massive class action lawsuits do absolutely nothing to hurt the stock. And I have personal experience with that in the stock and also with the service. Let me give you just a really good example. It's always good to have examples on the top of your head. And so PayPal is a great example. So PayPal is a company that millions of people use to transfer money, but they do a lot of things that aren't real nice to their to their users, right? And so they actually, I mean, I'll be totally blunt, they actually steal money from people, okay? And they hold it, and then they tell you that they're going to give it to you when they don't. It's pretty nasty stuff that they do, right? Well, then they had a class action suit. All these people got fed up with it, right? And yet they had billions and billions on this class action lawsuit, and it didn't even affect the stock price one bit, right? It didn't even phase it. Okay, so we want to look at the price patterns, okay, and we want to look at you know, earnings drive these, and so when they get these billion-dollar lawsuits, it's not a big deal when they have earnings. So that's one thing. So you just want to watch your charts and look at them, right? So let's take a look at this current situation here. You got a consolidation and price moving lower right there. Consolidation and price moving lower, and then when it broke out, it was a big move. Same with this one right here. When it broke out, it was a big move. So it's just the same kind of chart pattern that we see over and over again. You look for consolidation. Here's another one, consolidation, and then a move. Consolidation is one of the key things that you want to see, because before that consolidation happens or after, there'll be a big move that will come into play. So that's definitely something we want to look at. So I'm just watching this pound yen. If it doesn't play out quickly, I'll probably close it. But you can see this trend line is working in our favor right now. If it breaks this trend line, I'm out, right? So I have my stop all the way up here, but if it breaks that trend line, I'm out. So I'll be watching that. I could like to keep my stop a little higher, but you know, the trend line is working. And so again, we also have an Australian US dollar trade, not Australian, a gold trade in place. You see this nice move? Look at that. I did not expect that to happen, but it broke the level and now we're moving up. And so that actually covers my loss on the pound yen if I end up losing the pound yen, because the pound yen is down about $200 and the gold trade is up about $400. So again, that's a $200 profit. So if I close this one and I close the gold, you still make your $100 or $200 by having two different positions. And so, okay, so right now, let's look at this. Watch the level really closely. It's breaking up above. We still have some resistance right here. Give it a chance. I want to give it a chance. And yeah, so I want to actually, I like all these comments. These are really helpful. So going to give this a little bit of a chance here to get some rejection, see what happens. All right. So still being patient on that just to see how it responds right here. And Ben was talking, I'll just hit his comment while I'm waiting, as he was talking about credit spreads. And we could actually hit that as well while I was waiting. I'll just make sure let me just pull that up in a different window real quick so I can see both things. And if something happens, I'll pull it up. But let's take a look at the FNKO. FNKO, not FNKO, FUBO. While we're waiting for this to either break out or break up, you can make some profit on options. Okay, and I did this last week. I created a weekly option where you sell an option. So when you sell an option, they pay you a premium. So that means you can collect money just for holding it. So I have 870 shares of this. And so that means I can sell 8 options. And so we can go ahead and click the options chain by clicking this. And then you can see that it has different dates. So this expires in 4 days. So you go back and you follow the price. And you see that the current price, this is called the strike price, this column in the middle, the current price is $42. And so you sell the option and you say, this option could be, do you believe that it's going to get to $50 before Friday? Okay, that's $9, pretty substantial move. If it does not, you make money. So let me show you. So we click this 50 and we sell. So we get 53 cents, which is $53 because it's 100 contracts, but I have 8 of these. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can make $424 just from holding this if the price does not go to 50, okay? If it does not go to 50. So let's take a look at this chart before we make a decision on that, okay? If it breaks this level, it'll probably get to 50. Okay, if it breaks that level, we could probably get to 50. So what would be a better place to put it? How about 58? 58, because if it breaks it and it crashes up into here, it'll hit some resistance, and it only has 4 days, right? It only has 4 days, so let's look at the options. Let's see what 58 would be. So the price goes down as it goes down, or as you go up. So 58, instead of making 49 cents, you're only making 13 cents. So if I do the 8 on that, okay, you're only getting $104, right? Only 104 versus, let's go back up to the 50 versus the big money over here. So the question is, what's it worth to you, right? So 400 versus 100. You get $300 more, but your probability is not as good. However, if it doesn't break that level, you get to keep the whole thing. So this is definitely something that you could try to do for stocks that you're holding. It's a pretty safe way to do to get money on what you're making. So let's go back over the chart. So your option is worth 56 cents, okay? But if the price keeps going down, that option will continue to drop. And that's what you want, because we're gonna have to buy that back at some point. We're gonna have to buy that option back, right? And if we buy it back, well, that's not gonna be good because, if it goes up, you'll lose money. If it goes down, you'll make money. So in this case, we wanna give it a little bit more room. So let's maybe hit the middle of it. Let's hit the middle. Okay, and the middle would be like 54, and I could still make some good money on it. We could make some money here. So now we get about $200, right? You don't have to. This is a great question, Greg. You don't have to hold it, but let me explain how it works. So if you do hold it, it's free. I don't have to pay for this. I collect the money for free, okay? So you see where it says if you don't hold the stock, you have to pay for the privilege of the option. Okay, you have to pay for the privilege of the option if you don't have the stock. So ultimately, it's really good to do it on stocks you own. So what's the risk on it? Well, the risk is that your option goes up, and the stock you own, you make money on, but you might have to lose money on that option. So the cash that we're collecting, we might have to lose some money on that, right? And so we don't want to lose money on the cash that we're collecting, but it's still better to lose on your option than to get rid of your stock, right? They call this a covered call. And so I did this last week. I sold the options last week, and it worked out really well. So let's just do it again, just to let you guys see it. I'm going to go for the 54 and just collect the money, and we're just going to collect $200. Before I do that, let me actually just check our other trade real quick. Okay, so that actually ended up working out for me, because I just saw this, I wanted to manage it. We're actually crashing right into support right here. We just broke, okay? And this is currently up 259, so I'm gonna actually close this one right now. So I just closed that pound yen. And so as you can see, the trade went right back up into resistance, and then it dropped down. So we actually got 200 and some dollars, 200 and let me look at it real quick. We got 270 on it. So let's let me add. So we got 270 on that pound yen. All right, and I'm currently up 300 on my other one. So now that I did that, let me add it to the spreadsheet real quick. All right. And let's pull up that option. We're gonna take the option trade. So we just got 270 on that. Now I'm gonna do the option here. I'm gonna sell it. We're gonna do 8 of them, and it's gonna be $192. So we're gonna collect our $192, and now it's been done. So now I just got the order. I got the 192, and so now what I need for it to happen, so we'll go back to the chart. What I need to happen is for it not to get up to 54 by Friday. Okay, if it does break out of here, I might be like, okay, it's got a bullish candle. I'm going to close my option, right? And I can close my option for a very small loss, and we'd be able to do that. So, well, Carolyn, that's good. Good. Carolyn, are you tracking on your own spreadsheet? Are you tracking on your own spreadsheet? I recommend that everyone do that. It's really easy to create a spreadsheet, and it's just so good for looking at your own trades, right? It's really good at looking at your own trades. So right now I'm going to take a look at Walmart, and then I'm going to sign off for today. But we just collected $192, and we got money on this pound yen. And it's so funny because Carolyn was like, pound yen, and I'm thinking short. We got to go short, or we got to go long. And then I ended up taking a short. So you never know what you're going to do, because you just got to follow what the levels are telling you. And the level told me short, and so I followed it. We went from there to there. It was a 15 pip move, right? And so we got our trade off. So same with this Australian USD, right? It broke a level, and now it's headed to this next level. So we're just going to follow levels. That's really what I like to look at. Good job, Carolyn. Good job, everybody. And yeah, Ben said that 90% of options expire worthless, which is, in my case, that's the goal, right? So your probabilities are really good. And if I take a small loss on it, it's not a big deal, because I'll make a lot more on the stock. But, you know, $100, $200 a week, I can do that every single Monday just for holding a stock, right? Just for holding that. I can hold that thing all year and make 200 a week. 200, 200 times 52, right? You just made $10,000 just doing that in 10 minutes a week. So it's not bad, right? It's not a bad setup, plus the money we make on the actual trade, right? So it's kind of a really cool scenario. Okay. All right. So now let's go look at Walmart, and then I'm going to sign off. WMT, Walmart. Walmart is currently in a channel going this way. Right? So we're currently in a channel. We currently have support right here. We're currently right at support. We have support here. We have support with the 200 period moving average, and we have support with this trend line. So just like the Clorox, we've got another level right down here, but just like Clorox, this is an upward channel. This is an upward trend. So how would I trade this? This is very similar to my other setup. I would be looking at collecting a long on this if the price shows me a break. So what would I look at? Let's go to an hourly time frame. If we get a bounce and a break, there's a big gap here. See that massive gap? And so that happened. When did that happen? That gap happened just recently. So let's see if we know it. Does anyone know what happened here? I don't. I'm not sure what happens. But the chart says that we're still in an uptrend. So there's a big gap to the downside. And so we just watch it. If we get any kind of bounce, then this would be a great setup for long. I really do believe in that. Another thing to look at is the MACD. When the MACD turns over, especially on like a 4-hour or 1-hour time frame. Currently the RSI and the MACD are lower, but if we get that break of that trend line, we get the bounce to the upside. I definitely think there's some potential there. Okay, guys. Well, so we're trying to do the $100 a day. I want you guys to really participate again. Remember, options, trading, stocks, it's all for educational purposes only. This is don't risk more than what you can afford. But again, guys, thank you so much. Najah, it takes a little while to grasp the concept, but just keep coming back to it. Keep coming back in here and asking me questions. I love it when you guys ask questions. I really do. It's really cool. It helps me out a lot. So again, thank you guys, and we'll see you guys very soon. We'll keep working on that. Oh, by the way, make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed, because we're doing a giveaway on Wednesday, right? And you want to get notified of the giveaway. Plus, I'm doing some updates now as well that will help out with some trade ideas and stuff like that. So make sure you guys can get subscribed to that. All right, well, that's it. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys very soon.